All right. So welcome everyone. If you have not been here before, this week we're doing pre-market live stream Monday through Thursday. Normally we do Monday through Thursday for our members, but we thought we'd kind of showcase what you get access to in the Trading Masterclass course, access to our pre-market live stream, top trade ideas for the day, trades, some of the trades that we're in, how we're looking to trade or manage them, trades that we're looking at, analysis, open Q&A. We will do open Q&A in a little bit. If you do have a question on a trade or an instrument you want to look at, three things: give me the symbol, time frame, 1 sentence description, bullish or bearish. And if you're in the trade, entry, stop loss, and take profit. That's it for a call out. But what we're going to do is we always start off with our top movers for the day in Benzinga. Benzinga is a great service I use that gives me just rolling news going on for the day in the US stock market. It actually uses trading view charts, gives me the top movers, and I can get the earnings, any sort of earnings coming out, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, anything like that. So we're going to look at our top movers for the day. My general requirement for a top mover is that I want it to be 600,000 shares and above. That tells me there's significant, or at least a decent amount of volume and interest pre-market. And that tends to lead to interest not only throughout the pre-market, but potentially throughout the day. So we look for something that's a top mover. We compare it to its average volume, and then we look at percent gain. And so we got a few that are 600K and above. So we're just going to click through these real quick, see if the chart looks good. Actually, this doesn't look so bad. This is pretty good. So I'm going to bust out my trusty pen. Jackson, good to see you. So I was saying I have a plan as well that it's been with me for 10 plus years and refuses to stop growing, so I have to cut it every spring. Yeah. I mean, he's looking awesome. So I'm just happy right now. The cat got in here one day and like chewed on it, a few of his things. She's got a few leaves that are a little mowed up, but the rest are looking killer. So he looks great. He looks great. Okay. So I'm liking this one so far, first chart, because you got the impulsive move on the news. And it's holding. Now, there is something inside this corrective structure that's not as inspiring, which is that you have two same highs, clearly a resistance at 8, but now you have this lower high. So it is kind of pressing a little bit lower. So that is the one kind of mark against it. The volume is not gangster. 650K average on a day is 7.5 million. So we're about 10%, which is also kind of on the low end. So we will take a look at this. I will put it up, and we'll put it up for viewing in a little bit. Okay, so we'll consider that on the list. Joxan, good to see you. FCEL, it's towards the highs. It's not much of a rip, though. I mean, you got 660K. Its average is 42 million, so it's well under its average, daily volume. And so with that being the case, this is so far under. It's almost, yeah, I mean, it's not even 10%. It's more of like, what is that? 2.5%? Very low, very, very low. So I'm going to pass on that, even though I like the structure. It's not telling me, considering its average daily volume is 42 million. This is only 2.5%. It's just, there's not a lot of institutional interest pre-market. Structure is okay. Is there any news coming out on TIGR? Up FinTech Holding. Is that like a SPAC? Okay. All right, we might take a look at it. It's not gangster. JAG-X. Jaguar Health shares are trading triumph. The company reported FY20 sales of 25 million, up 146% on the year. And this is a sub $3 stock. Yeah, I generally don't look at sub $3 stocks. Not my jam, so it's kind of outside of my trading plan, so I'm going to kind of pass on it, really. Ideanomics, this is something that's I've had mixed feelings about before. During after company reported 19.5 million revenue, up from 2.7 million. Okay, we'll take a look at IDX. We'll get a few of those beeps. Might as well just get rid of them now. Anytime the first time I open up the tabs for the day, if there's one word on one tab, it's on the others. And in comparison to volume, though, 2.9 billion versus average of 43. So we're not even at 10%, which is kind of low. Sonoma Pharmaceutical shares are trading higher for the company, and EMC Pharma announced an exclusive partnership to expand commercial channels of the microcin-based pharma dermatology and eye care products nationwide. Okay. Okay, well, this is well above its average daily volume. So we will take a look at SNOA. So we will take a look at that. Yushin, 4.1 million. Normal is 5. Good structure. Earnings 12 days out from now. Okay, we'll take a look. Then the last of the day, FTFT. This is the big volume, 9.9 million pre-market, very strong. Average is 13 million. It's like 60, 70%. That is a good structure. Now it's a framework agreement to acquire a Bitcoin mining farm for roughly 9.1 million. Okay, that I think is working. So let me get it's under my webcam. There we go. All right. There we go. And what is that? FTFT. Okay, so we're going to move this to the front. Make this the top watch. Structure looks good. So here's the news and the rip, and it's holding near the highs. This is what we like of our potential day trades for the day. Rip and then hold near the highs, and ideally holding above dynamic support. In this case, the gold is the VWAP, the session VWAP. It's holding that in the 20 EMA, which is the purple. And this is at the top. That means there's very little profit taking so far. It's pressuring right now. So as long as it can hold this, this right here, which is the support from here, then this structure is still in play and it should keep pressuring. So now that we've marked the pre-market highs, let's check in with the weekly and see where those pre-market highs line up. 792 lines up right about here. Excuse me, got a little something special in my eye. Just a little stardust. Okay. It's okay. It's not the most gangster level, but it does resonate right there. So you can see 8.5 being potential resistance, and then 10 I think is going to start getting thick. Yeah, I think it's going to start getting thick around 10. Are there options on FTFT? Let's see. There's not. Okay. I'm a little less inspired by it, but we will take a look. So, all right. So here's the high pre-market. We're right pressing against that. We have 8.5 and then 10. So the real thing here would be you'd want this to hold, push, break, and then you'd have room for either this break here, get in, get some profit at 8.5, and then hopefully it breaks through towards 9.89, because then there's a lot more room to work with. Monthly VWAP is down at 591. Okay. All right. Overall, this isn't bad. Where is weekly VWAP? Weekly VWAP is down here, which is these spike lows. So we'll set an alert just in case it does create a range down there and then finds buyers and comes back in. But so far, it's holding the top. I like this so far. It's the best structure so far. So we're going to put an alert at like 806, which is just a few cents above the pre-market highs. And so far, this is looking pretty good. 10 million averages 13.5. So this is so far the best candidate of the day. Structure, volume. Yeah, it's got some news, the whole thing. So yeah, I'm liking this so far. Dips, maybe 7.6 if we want to trade the bottom of the corrector structure. Okay. Put this towards the top of your list. UAVS, pretty weak on the volume. Yeah, just not enough volume. There's a lot of spaces between the candles. Gonna pass. What's volume on IDX? IDX has always been kind of a questionable stock to me. It's not even 10%. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on this one too. It's not that there's anything bad about the structure per se. There are some elements that it may want to start to reverse here. This is just not a stock that I've trusted a whole lot. Doesn't hold on to gains. And it was kind of a hype stock. You see it rips, fades, rips, fades, rips, fades. It just doesn't hold on to gains. We did see good volume influx, but I think this was just an overhyped stock, and now it's kind of finding its way back to earth. And they're trying to do whatever they can to keep the stock afloat. So far, the only real contender that I'm liking, this one's already faded $2 from the highs, so it's lost most of it. It is trying to hold the base here at 941. So we'll set an alert there and see how it reacts, but it's treating VWAP as resistance and pushing lower. So that's not exciting. And Yushin is below $3. I generally don't like to trade stocks below $3. So, all right. So we got FTFT. So far, that's the best one. Let's check in with my HD. And let's see, there was TGT. I want to check in with Tesla. Tesla's had, just since that bounce off 600, man, very strong option buying, ripping. And then is there another one? There was another one I was looking at yesterday. Oh, SFM. I think this one's a fade. Yeah. So it got a very interesting trade recommendation on CNBC. This is why you don't listen to CNBC. Got a very interesting trade recommendation from downtown Josh Brown. This is the guy who's partnered with Ritz-Hold Wealth Management. I can't say I'm necessarily a fan of their calls, and I'm also not a fan of their business practices because of the fact that when the pandemic hit, the U.S. government was offering PPP loans to companies that were, businesses that really needed it, that were part of it. They are a financial management, they're like a trade advisory type company. They have clients. And what did they do? They applied for a loan. Which was forgivable. And the funny thing about it is the author, Barry Ritholtz, wrote a book called, Bailout Nation, on how people now are asking for bailouts and capitalism and all this and that. And it's changed. And you should be wary of companies that do it. Then they do the same thing. You are a financial management company. It's your job to see these changes in the market. If you didn't see these changes, then that's going to be reflected in your P&L, in your trades, and you should not be asking for a loan to backstop your company. Like, we didn't ask for a loan to backstop our company. It was our job to see the changes in the market, trade accordingly, make money. That's our job. If we don't do it, we don't go, hey, we need a loan to help us out. We can't pay bills and things like that. Yeah. So I kind of am skeptical about them. Anyways, they had a call on CNBC on this day. SFM, they're a long-term buy. The thing immediately pops within minutes, runs into a wall of orders and sells off. And we even said, we don't think it's going to get past this. We think there's just too much dealer positioning here. We don't think it's going to pass it. What does it do? Runs into that same wall, sells off. So with that being said, we still hold to our trade recommendation on SFM. If we get a pop up to 28.53.29, we believe this is a sell, mainly because you're still in a very large corrective structure at the bottom of the most recent moves. It's going to need to break and stabilize above it. We think there's just too much option positioning, dealer positioning between the 28 and 29.66 range. And it just, every time it gets up here, it gets hammered. Even with a positive CNBC report and a pop immediately from that, sold off. So the fact that they made the recommendation, I don't have much faith in them. So it's not to say they can't be good traders. I just kind of lost a little bit of a respect for them because of the fact that you are a trade advisory, you manage assets, and then you're asking for a loan as if your business is like critical infrastructure to the economy. It's not. My business is not critical infrastructure to the economy. And it's your job to see the changes. And if you don't see that, you don't see me going, oh, I lost money this month, I should get a loan from the government. It's bullshit. So we're going to still maintain the neutral structure on this right now. So play both sides of this right now until you get significant closes outside of that and building outside of that. I think there could be some really good option plays on this to, play a neutral directional strategies on this. So yeah. Okay. So FTFT building pressure, looking really good. It's still pressuring this and it's still holding VWAP in the 20s. So I like it. Okay. Beyond this, Tesla has some interesting, it had some very interesting options. Like it was breaking down, you could see the lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, broke down, and then a bunch of options came in on Tesla at 600. You know, very large amount of options, and that has boosted it since. So obviously 600 is now support, but we are coming into this 700, 710, 20 resistance area, which has held it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the past. And I have a feeling 700 is going to hold it this time. So I'm looking to short Tesla as we get into this kind of 698 to goes all the way up to 717. But I'll probably short it via options because you short it a stock, you have to put in more margin. On top of you holding it overnight, you have to have more margin. And this is incredibly volatile stock. I'd rather trade it with options. Allows me to get better leverage, reduce my risk. So yeah. How are we looking on option notes on this one here? It's got 25, roughly a quarter of its options expiring this Friday, or today, actually. Today's the 1st. Holy shit. Happy April Fools. By the way, none of this commentary is April Fools. This is all serious and legit. Okay, so because the markets are closed tomorrow, Good Friday, you have options expiring today. Your weekly options that normally expire on Fridays are now expiring today. Yeah, if this gets up in here, then I feel like this is a sell. I'll probably look to take an option on this. I won't buy outright puts. I'll either do a bear put spread, maybe a long put fly, like a long put butterfly. But, you know, depending upon, IV is probably going to be pretty high. So I'll probably want to do a long put fly on this, which is where you sell kind of a ratio. You could sell like, you could buy 10 puts here, and let's say you think it's going to get down to 650, then you would sell 20 there and then buy another 10 down here. And so the 10 and the 10 are evened out by the 20 that you sell. Because these are close to the money, they're more expensive. So you fund it by selling double the amount further down, further out of the money. So that's kind of what I'm leaning towards on this play right here. I could also do I could do a bear call spread, which means that I would sell calls at 720, maybe buy at 730, 740, and expect that the market by next week does not close above 720. That might be the better play out there. So probably bear call or put flies would probably be the play on this one. Okay, so that's my play on Tesla. Target, another one. Target is rolling back, and looking at option notes. Still got a little bit of resistance at 200, but support keeps building. I like pullbacks on this. We have this structure here. I think somewhere between 195 and 190, this is going to find solid support. I think between those two, it's going to find solid support. So I look to get long on this, probably by a stock and options. If I could get to 190, even better, but I'm bullish on this. So between 190 and 195, I want to get long on Target. I think Target's probably going to hit 220 sometime before the end of this year. That's just, you know, from where we are now, it's about a 10% gain. I think it's got more than that, but that's what I'm kind of pulling. Home Depot, we're long on this via stock and options. We bought right around 302 stock and options on this one here, and it continues to just perform really well. So seems like support is kind of building. You know, you got this double tap here, like had an impulsive move up, corrective structure at the top, find support, makes new highs. It's all a very good sign. Short term, you know, there's potential 304 support as well. This is also the weekly VWAP. So I think intraday pullbacks to 304 are probably going to get bought. So I'm going to put an alert there. Might add a little bit onto my position at that point. I mean, of course, it'd be super cherry if it got back to the top of this corrective structure, 293, because then I'd buy a little bit more size. But I think 300 is going to hold right now. I think 300 is going to hold. If it gets on here, I'll just buy a little bit more. I have a long-term target on HD for the rest of this year. It's around like 330, 340. So yeah, I'm expecting good things out of Home Depot. Professor X, this is a stock we are long right now. We don't have options on it yet. Okay, so we longed at 25.70, and then we bought this dip right here at 25. We got in 25.21, I think. So right about there. Yeah. Okay, so accounting for spread and everything like that, volatility. So we bought, comes back, we buy again on the dip. It ran to a pretty significant wall at 27. Structure-wise, it is rolling back a little bit, but it's mostly corrective. Get out of here. So I'm expecting this kind of 25-20 to hold. I would like to see this, like if it does come back here and hold, I'd like to see it stabilize, move sideways instead of down. That would show a transition in the order flow, and then get some really strong impulsive buying off of that. That's kind of what I'm looking for on X. Let's see if anything's changed. Yeah, I think 25 is going to offer pretty solid support. So I really like this here. I'll probably, since I'm already long stock, I might add some options on this. But I think this has got room for a 30 run, maybe 35. 35 is a little ambitious, but there were some heavy options that came in early on the week on this stock for 30 and 35 targets. So I'm leaning more towards getting towards this 30, which is here, 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 and all that. That's kind of my target on this one here. Okay. All right. Got a few minutes for questions. 6:26. We started about 2 minutes late, so we'll go to like 6:33. Bukola, good morning. Do you have any information on MISV or MBIS? So Bukola, for trade callouts or stock callouts, symbol, time frame, 1 cent description, bullish or bearish. So yeah. SNOA. You want to look at SNOA. High PM volume, possibly building for a phase. I mean, it's got good volume, but it's already faded a lot of this. You know, it ripped to a high of 12. It's already 270 down. So at 730 to 12, it's roughly a $4.70 rip. It's already down 270 of a 470 rip. It's down over 50%, over 50% of its rip. So to me, that's not good. I want something to hold. FTFT is holding near the highs. SNOA is not. So for me so far, the best potential day trade structure, volume, everything, I'm seeing it in FTFT. Yeah. I think there might be some good day trades also on Tesla. I think Tesla's going to really challenge the 700, 715 kind of, area today. And I think it's going to get a real test there. So, John Hunter, what would be the best price action context for bullish mean reversion trades after overextended bearish moves? Strong downtrends are not ideal since you want a false break. You want a clear structure and a false break. That's what you'd want. You'd want a false break structure. Yeah. Yeah. You'd want a clear structure, clear levels. It created a base, broke below that, false break above it. That's what you'd want. Yeah. Or you'd want like exhaustion type move. Yeah. Okay. So we got FTFT. We got Tesla. SFM, if it gives us the pullback into 28, we're passing on SNOA, SNOT, whatever you want to call it. HD, we are buyers on a pullback. We're already long. XD, we're looking for pullbacks to 25, 25.37 if we can get them. But we like XT or X. We haven't done our SPYs and Bitcoin and analysis. So let's do that. So we said kind of early in the week, we expect SPYs to have an upward bias, but for it to be a slow grind. That's totally what's happened this week. That is totally how things have played out. The beginning of the week was the 29th. So this day, and look what's happened, slow grind on up and continuing to build. You have a corrective structure to start off the week. It breaks, pulls back to corrective structure and grinding. This feels to me like it wants to touch the 400. And if I'm correct in my options notes, there's a fair amount of strikes targeting 400. So that could pull the market, into that. And so the structure continue looks favorable. Just looking at some notes here. Yeah, I think it's gonna feel like a pull towards 400. I'll pull out 4 hour. Yeah, I feel like it's gonna pull towards the 400. And then it probably should find support between 394 and maybe the weekly VWAP. So because it's kind of got this slow grind higher, I prefer dips versus breakouts because it kind of has that mean reversion with an upward slope. So I'm bullish on SPY, just not gangster. The Qs is the better one for me. There's more volatility in this. We were talking about this with our members yesterday. We felt like this is going to be bullish, and it pretty much has manifested the way we suspected. So we suspected that it was going to hit a couple of days ago. We said to our members, we think it's going to hit 319 and then 323, and that's where it's going to probably encounter some resistance. Let's see here. We could probably run into some selling around 324. So I prefer buying dips on this one here. Maybe 319 and 316 as support. So I'm liking Qs right now. Qs is looking constructive. It's the most constructive it's looked in a while. So I'm bullish on Qs. All right, Jaimanga, what technique do you use to glean information about Delta, or maybe cumulative Delta is more open interest data? Or maybe cumulative Delta is more important than Delta itself. I think Gamma is more important than Delta. I think Gamma is much more important than Delta. We talked about this. This is kind of getting into, this is stuff that we talked about with our options bootcamp members. So yeah, open interest. You can get open interest data. You do generally have to pay for it. You have to contact Oprah about that. Yeah. You can get some of that from your broker, but yeah. John's saying it's looking like a good impulsive corrective sequence on SNOT. Not really. You have impulsive corrective, impulsive, massive fade. If it was staying like this near the highs, then that would be a constructive sequence. This is not really constructive. This was constructive. But then this and fade all the way back is not, because this didn't fade back to the bottom of the impulsive move. So not as constructive. Yeah. Okay. All right. Any last questions before we wrap it up? Tomorrow, by the way, if you haven't already, hit that like button. We did this for free, give you potential trade ideas, give you analysis, call outs and things like that, help you prepare for the market. Hit that like button. We appreciate it. I'm not getting paid for this. I could be trading. I'm not. And I'm doing this for free. So please send that love back. We do appreciate it. It just lets YouTube know, hey, we appreciate the streaming that this guy's doing. Tomorrow, Good Friday, markets are closed. But even though the markets are closed, we are doing a live open Q&A. We're going to be testing a new streaming software. So you have to be patient with us. We will start at 6:30, so it's just like 4 minutes ago this time tomorrow. We'll start at 6:30. We'll go to 7:30. We will test the stream software for that hour. We will also do open Q&A. Hopefully everything's working fine. We can look at any chart, any instrument, any time frame, doesn't matter. And I'll probably share some potential trade recommendations that I'm looking at for the next week. So yeah, be there for that. Also help us test that. Last question of the day: when price is strongly rising on decreasing and falling, can we expect that move to be an unsustainable or even false break? That would decrease the probabilities of it, but there are always things that can come in real time and suggest, hey, this has got it. So it reducing volume is not an optimizer, but that's not all of it. So yeah. So, okay, that's pretty much it. I have to switch to live trade stream for my trading masterclass members. So with that being said, good luck trading today. I hope to see you guys tomorrow for the live stream with the new software. And hit the bid, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in the green. Take care, everyone.